First of all, if it's your first build, you don't have the credit for it. You don't have the chops yet, according to the banks, for real, unless you have a super high income, even higher than normal because it's your first one. I think like financial responsibility like pioneered with my generation. Like, be a young buck.
Yeah.
Read Jim Cramer and become a stock trader.
Yeah.
You're 20. Put your money into a Roth.
Yeah. Eric McFarland with $25. I'm the guy from the Utah home earlier. Curious if you are seeing people under 30 purchasing homes these days. I don't see how it's possible. Most people I know under 30 can't get past 6 figures and never will, ? Curious on your thoughts.
Well, it is to be fair to your point. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's probably like the least amount of like young. When I was a kid, it was like a thing. Honestly, I think like financial responsibility like pioneered with my generation. Like, be a young buck.
Yeah.
Read Jim Cramer and become a stock trader.
Yeah.
You're 20. Put your money into a Roth.
Yeah.
Like that like debuted with my generation in like 2000.
Yeah. It's kind of coming back a little bit.
Kids are smart. I mean, they're sharp and they're clean. They don't smoke weed. They don't smoke cigarettes. They don't drink. And just simply put, entry-level money, 20-year-olds' money, let's call it 40 to 75 grand for entry-level positions for a good person who would be having this conversation. I'm not talking about the boneheads who work at the movie theater that you went to high school with. Yeah. I'm not talking about Shrek, the human. Pants. I'm talking about like the well-to-do that went to college that has a job in accounting at like a decent firm.
The violin players.
Yeah, the soccer captain.
Yeah.
Who didn't pursue athletics in college.
Yeah. They pursued business.
They pursued business administration, and they worked with on a political campaign once. And most people are too smart to go like, I can't spend every dollar. Like, no one's gonna leave themselves that's being house poor. So yeah, I mean the starter home price kind of lifted off the ground and got to 278, and at 7% mortgages, it's totally out of the water. Now, if that money was when you're going like almost 10% for your fucking costs after everything, you need it to be half that. So yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I think there's a lot of truth to that, but yeah, you have to be hustling. That side job is really important, guys.
Lassie Biscuit with $20. Nick, I'm 24. Everybody's 24 tonight.
Yeah.
Nick, I'm 24. I work a security job where I get to sit down all day. It's perfect because my left leg is fucked. I want to buy 5 acres. Is there any way for someone to buy land while credit maxing? I don't have debt nor a credit score at the moment.
No. Land is not a plan for anybody. I'm going to show you guys because I get land so much on here. I'm glad you asked. All right. So for those of you who don't know, starting in March, starting very soon, we're producing it right now. We're going to build a whole house. Okay. I got the plans. I have the meetings. I have the land is bought, and it's about 5 acres is the plot that I'm going to be working on. It's not for the faint of heart because the land has to be purchased cash. There's really no land loans for real. Like you can say there are, and there's the anecdotal farm, but there's a lot more into that. But for the kid that I'm talking to who wants to buy land and build a house, that's the case, the use case here, not the well, you can get a farm loan. It's like, yeah, he's not talking about that. I get that all the time. So land is cash, and banks don't lend you money on land for the most part. You have to buy the land, then go to the bank and say, hi, my name's John. I just bought this land for $75,000. I want to build a house on it. Okay, you own the land? Yes, that's the deed. It's in my name. Okay, how much do you need to build the house? I need $350,000 to build the house. Okay, where's your 10%? I think it's 10% down. You probably need 30% total down, which is about 120 grand. So now you're into this house for $170,000 down payment. Now you have a bank on your side. First of all, if it's your first build, you don't have the credit for it. You don't have the chops yet, according to the banks, for real, unless you have a super high income, even higher than normal because it's your first one. So take that into consideration. So you'd have to be out of pocket about 180 grand before a shovel goes in the ground. Then you build the house for 350 grand, saying you do it perfectly and you nail it. You build yourself a nice house for 350,000 bucks, and you bought the land for 75 grand. You're into the house for 425. How does it comp out once you're there? Meaning, what's that house worth once it's built? Then you go back to the bank and you say, okay, my house is done. I owe you. I own the land. I put $120,000 down. I owe you guys what? $210,000. You have a mortgage for $210,000. Now, if you wanted to go get your money back, as they say, and you wanted to say do it again, you would get a new mortgage and say, hi, I want to purchase on the house. They come, they appraise the house for now, let's say it appraises for $450,000, and they'll give you 80% of the money on that. They'll give you a new loan for about $375,000. You now have your $100,000 back in your pocket, and you're on and moving and cooking again. They say, but you have a nice high mortgage and blah 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 blah. But it's just not that easy. It's really not. It's not that easy. That's all. So yeah, land is not a dream. A cheap house for under 75 grand is a dream. A fixer upper for 45, 50 grand. A buy from the wholesale cash. A structure that's ticking and working from a wholesaler buyer. That's what you should be looking for. For anybody who wants to buy land, buying a crack house for 25 grand from a wholesaler on Craigslist. Go to Craigslist, type in wholesale real estate. You'll find 5 guys, the I buy houses guys. Go to them, call them, and say, hey, I want to buy one of your pieces of shit. And they say, okay, I have this piece of shit. The thing is going to be in total shambles, and you're going to have to rebuild it. But you'll be into it for a better position than buying land and building a house.
The note on this house. Yo, Nick and Chris, nice work. I got pre-approved for $275 today. Makes 70-ish a year. Thoughts on this condo? First-time buyer, 3% down, 6.8K. Wait, jump in. Area is primo.
How much does he make?
70K. Makes 70-ish. For $275? I mean...
It's not a special piece of property, man. I'll say that. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer on this. But it's a 2-bed, which is good. It's tight. Doesn't have a lot of windows. And the unit is... I'm going to say it. This is the worst unit in the entire complex.
How do you sit down in that chair? The dining room. The one facing the wall.
You lay down across it sideways and you pee underneath it on your friend's guests. On your friends sit here and then you pee all over their legs. I mean, it's got a kitchen that's dated as shit. It's fine. It looks, it's California West Coast style quality. Double closet in each room. It looks like an undesirable unit, if I'm being honest. That's kind of the thing with these. This will trade sideways. I don't like hearing that you got 3% down, man. I'll be straight with you. That's like the worst thing you could have told me. 3% down at 275 at your income rate. If the market slips one hair, you're you understand what I'm trying to tell you? So like if this unit has never been 275 and you're the last motherfucking schmuck to buy it during an election year where everybody knows how the cycle goes. It's an election year, then the year after that goes to high hell in some way, shape, or form. Right now, as far as the prices of real estate go, we are coming down from all-time highs. Even if Salt Lake City is on an uprise, when it comes to the specific condo unit, that's the first one to take the beating, just so you know. The condos are the first one to take a bath. Multifamilies and condos, the smaller the rental units, essentially. Because the big money is there, and when they pull out, those take the biggest drop. If you put 3% down, man, you're talking $6 grand down. You're going to owe $268,000. What happens when this thing's worth $238,000? You're completely. You are stranded on a desert island with 400 credit score if you try to move. Now, that's not to say, but literally, now you're going to be looking at other people who are buying houses that are better than yours for $236, right? Because the market fell out from underneath you. It's just a possibility, but this is the possibility you'd be looking at. You'd be looking at people, your buddies, your other young friends that got good jobs, buying houses for like 10, 15% behind yours, right? At better interest rates. And you'd say, and the reason why I'd say pump the brakes is because you have $7 grand down, right? It doesn't leave you any money for furniture when you get in there. It doesn't leave you any money for forks, all right? I'd stay wherever you are, even if you're at your parents for cheaper and free. It's just like when you buy condos and you're at like buying at peak market, that's where I lost it all. I was like right there, kind of like I bought a duplex at kind of like market peak at 279, I think. And I was going to flip it, turn it into 2 condos, create an HOA. And then it was 2 3-bedroom, 1-bath units, and I paid $275 for it. My brother goes, you're really close to market on that. Market slipped. The house was worth $210,000. I was completely unfinanceable. This is about that range because I was making about $70 grand a year. And it's just like you don't have enough money. Honestly, it's not like you're going to be going from making 70 to 150 in like a 2-year time span. I'd rather just see you put your hands in your pockets and wait. Please God. Please God. And this piece of real estate isn't anything special to own. This is like a divorcee's house. This isn't something you capitalize and essentially make a lot of money on. It's a slow rental that you buy when you're a young guy and then you move it out and you rent it. But honestly, who's going to rent this place for, even if, how much could you rent it out for? Let's just be honest. How much could you really rent this place out for? If you're buying a condo, could you rent it for $19.50? Do they even allow it? Some condo complexes don't allow you to do that. But if they do, could you get $19? Cool, you're making no money a month. Not one of the utilities is included. Okay, say you rent it for $2,000 a month. Sure. What are you making, $100 a month? Cool. You'll never get your money back. So honestly, I would skip these condo plays in like peaky hot markets, because especially when you're thinking about 3% down, I would really reconsider my strategy as a whole.